Frank, you appear to be on mute, sir.
I guess I have very little to say.
Fair enough.
He's Aaron William Franland. I'm Candid Frank Stanishi. Welcome to Leaf Talk, where we talk everything Maple Leaf. And not necessarily the blue maple leaf, the red maple leaf as well, which is very busy this week and will be for a couple of weeks, for 3 weeks, in fact. All about the Olympics and the Canadian contribution. And today we saw a game between the U.S. and Canada, the women's hockey, and I have to say I had to miss the last little bit. I had to deal with an automobile issue, so I've got to drive to Toronto tomorrow, so I couldn't avoid fixing it because I couldn't do it in the dark, and this show will bring me to the dark. While it does shed a lot of light on sports, it does happen that it runs at a time when there's daylight, and then the daylight ends. But it's getting better every day, a couple of minutes at a time. It'll get better. So Aaron, how are you doing?
Doing all right. I mean, incremental improvements is really all that we can hope for. So, well, you've got your vehicle going into the shop on Wednesday. I'm going into the shop myself on Thursday, just to get some issues that I've got going on taken care of, hopefully. So, things are what they are, being what they are. We try to make do.
Well, I'm going to Toronto because I'm going to BMO Field. And because the Argos have an avail where they invite the media to come and talk and ask questions and listen to. This will be a review of free agency, maybe a couple of signings that'll have taken place and will take place between now and then. And a plan that the Argos have for the upcoming season, which, there's no continuity here. This is a fresh start. So we're going to find out what it exactly means when we go there tomorrow. So let's talk about the blue and white Maple Leafs. And we're hearing that Nicolas Roy is a trade target.
Yeah. As the trade deadline has approached or is approaching, and we're currently in the Olympics roster freeze, there's very little actually going on. But according to Colorado Hockey Now's Arif Dean, the Avalanche should be looking at the Maple Leafs to address a glaring need down the middle, specifically by targeting center Nicolas Roy. It's kind of hard to dispute Dean's assessment, let's be honest here. At 29 years old, Nicolas has established himself as a dependable, defensively responsible center, well suited to anchoring a bottom six role. His $3 million cap hit, which extends through next season, makes him far more than a short-term rental. He's a cost-controlled asset who's going to fit seamlessly within Colorado's current championship window. He also brings a lot of tangible on-ice strengths that directly address the Avalanche's needs. He is consistently reliable in defensive situations. He's effective on the penalty kill, and he's strong in the face-off circle, areas where Colorado has noticed a few deficiencies over the course of the season so far. Collectively, these attributes make Roy an ideal addition for an Avalanche team seeking a meaningful boost as it prepares for the intensity and brutality of the postseason. Well, I mean, he was picked up 9th, which means he's valuable. Where Colorado's currently sitting in the standings, this additional dependability on the back end, and in light of the fact that the Leafs should be sellers, means that there could very possibly be a fit. The problem with it is that this type of move checks almost every box for the Avalanche, but it doesn't really check a lot of boxes for the Leafs. I think the most that they can give the Leafs would be a 3rd-round pick. And there's no secret that Edmonton is also kind of interested. So
no, they don't. He's not worth getting rid of for a third. He's at least a high second. I'd even hold out for a first rounder. So many teams are still in the hunt that there's going to be less assets to get because so many teams are in the hunt for a playoff spot. The Leafs themselves can convince themselves of being in a run for the playoffs. But here's why I think Nicolas Roy should be important, and the Leafs should not undersell him. He has experience playing to a Stanley Cup championship.
This is very true. He's been there before.
So that's an important asset that can't be overlooked. Okay. Nylander missed practice. EOL, made comments that concerned some reporters, or at least concerned some reporters on behalf of Leaf fans.
Yeah, there's still the fact that he's done 2 full practices and felt a little bit sore, as anyone would. Um, he's been dealing with a nagging groin injury, which he managed to re-aggravate 2 games after coming back, after scoring a goal and celebrating a little too hard and slipping. So, you know, it forced him to miss 8 games in late January before returning to action for a handful of games heading into the Olympic break. But he's been looking really sharp and good on the ice for the past 2 days. And his team felt, we'll give him the day off. It's a short tournament, but we're still in the beginning of it and having bigger games coming up. So, keeping your priorities in focus is an important thing here. Given that it appears to be, for most accounts, middling ice at best, you wonder if it might be harder on a groin problem than professional NHL ice would be. But Willie apparently looked good.
In other words, the quality of the ice offers more resistance in skating, which offers a challenge to the groin.
Exactly. Now, it doesn't help that his roommate OEL snores. So, that's another issue that he could
he
be
needs sleep. That was the comment that's the attributable comment. Yeah. The reporter commented that he said, he told the reporter that Nylander's sleeping a lot. That's because after OEL stops sleeping, Nylander can sleep.
He's got to get his Z's in somewhere.
He's got to get his sleep time in, of course. And now Canada was losing 5-0 last time I heard. How did it end up today?
5-0 is how it ended up. Unfortunately, due to an injury suffered against Czechia in their second game of the round robin portion of the tournament, she took a hit, hit the boards rather hard, appeared to leave the ice in pain, went to the back, came back for the tail end of the first period, but did not come out for the second or third, and was ruled ineligible this morning, approximately 3 hours before the game against Team USA. So now, that's not to say that MFP missing was the whole reason why Canada lost. They've been having issues dealing with the United States and with their speed for the past year and a half, as evidenced by the ongoing rivalry series that occasionally puts the PWHL on hold for a couple of weeks at a time. But, let's be honest here, in a country of 380 million people, almost 10 times the size of Canada, I'm glad that the United States has finally managed to scout enough players that they can beat us.
Yeah, I guess. But here, I'd like to qualify this concern that Canadians are having. Not that they shouldn't be concerned by virtue of the score in this game and the way they lost. They really were outplayed. Let's not forget, history has taught us dominating the preliminary games is no guarantee to a gold medal. We have seen year after year a team that dominates the preliminary games. Then when it gets to the knockout series, a surprise happens. Now, I'm not predicting that's going to happen to the U.S., and neither am I telling you I'm hoping that's happening. Oh, hang on a second. I said that seriously, right? I sold that statement.
Like your face was making the appropriate expression.
Okay, because I don't want people to think that I hope the U.S. loses somewhere down the road, because that would be poor sportsmanship on my part. And I know it would be a little pro-Canadian, but okay, what the heck? I'm pro-Canadian. So anyway, so they can win this game. They can lose the next game. All Canada has to do is play enough to make it into the knockout round and get the best opponent they can in that knockout round. That's the important factor that the Maple Leaf female version of hockey needs to perform. So hopefully they can do that. Let's go to another Maple Leaf, and this one's on top of a bird's head. The Toronto Blue Jays. Aaron, other than the fact that they're going to have a giant-sized target on their backs because of the season they had, what are the other challenges the Blue Jays have going into 2026?
Well, I mean, part of what you have to look at here is injuries. It's obviously the big one. Health is a concern for every single team in the league, and it can undo any season relatively quickly. The Blue Jays have created an organization full of depth, so it can certainly overcome some attrition, but there's always a point where it becomes too much. There's regression is another major concern. Is Ernie Clement the playoff hero who will help carry the offense for all of October, or is he the guy who had a sub 100 OPS in the regular season? How about Addison Barger? Is he the guy who who had just a 301 OBP in the regular season, or is he something more than that? After losing Bo Bichette and after missing out on Kyle Tucker, the Jays are going to need some offensive help. Would Kazuma Okamoto be one of those to help them out? What about Anthony Santander, who signed a 5-year deal before the 2025 season? I mean, he had 44 homers for Baltimore in 2024, but he hit sub 200 and played only 54 games last regular season. The other is mindset. Having come so close, are they going to be able to replicate with the same intensity that they had last season? So those are some of the concerns going into this.
What they need to replicate as an organization is some of the players that they have who don't have a high ceiling that we're aware of have just that. The Blue Jay team that won so many games last year and made it to the World Series and Game 7 of that World Series had players who played way past their history. There's a bit of luck involved in that. And the question is, has the luck for the Jays run out, or will it continue? Now, remember, as much as I say that they were lucky to produce as much as they could, there are ways to predict a player could improve if you put him in a situation where he can win. So that's the effect that the team, the organization is responsible with each individual player. And they have a young new pitcher. We'll see how he does for a full season. That's going to be a curiosity. That's going to be something we're going to think about. They've bought some. They've got some pitching help that they brought in. So, this organization did a great job last year in playing as well as they did. Unless they win the World Series, that last season will always look like the year that was their peak, right? And that's the danger here for the team in regards to because they have to work twice as hard now to get to where they ended up last year. Because they're carrying the burden of people saying, it's the Blue Jays. They were in the World Series. We got to be up for these guys. So hopefully they can overcome that. And hopefully this Blue Jay team will be very competitive this year, Aaron. I'm hoping to go there at least once to watch a game. I enjoy going to the Sky Dome. All right, Rogers Center to watch a baseball game. There's some nice stuff they did to the stadium. I got to say, you got to give people credit where credit is due. And it's easy to dislike or wish the worst on the company, the behemoth that is Rogers.
No, that is very true. They have made some very nice updates, but unfortunately, along with that comes jacked ticket prices and dissatisfied season ticket holders, and the added burden of the expectations of fans to go along with all of that, which is something not a lot of them have really dealt with before. Like the last time the Jays went far in the playoffs, none of the guys that are on the current roster were there. So it's one of those things, where they now have to adjust that. So that is.
Can they keep the guys on the roster? Because, along with surprising season come raised expectations financially for each individual player who had the kind of season that a few of them had last year.
Yeah, it's very true.
Let's talk about another piece of good news. We all love Joe Carter. We all remember that home run. Touch 'em all, Joe. If you remember Tom Cheek's statement, they're going to put a reminder in front of the stadium of him posing or a statue representing that hit, that home run, that World Series ending beautiful shot to left field.
Yeah, they called Joe into the offices back on June 19th, 2025, just to let him know that had a position available for him that might require some modeling. They're actually going to be unveiling the statue on July 18th. It will be in between gates 5 and 6, so it will be very accessible. Everybody will have a chance to go by and say hi and take a look at just a little bit of Major League Baseball history and Toronto Blue Jays history. So great, long overdue.
I believe it's going to be where the Ted Rogers statue was.
As far as I was aware, scuttlebutt and information that had come out about it was that, yeah, Rogers would be
so if
either coming down or moved.
I only say that so that you know where it's going to be. It's going to replace the Ted Rogers statue that was there. Let's go on. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it'll be interesting to see what pose they put him in.
Well, it's I get an image of him waiting, hoping for that ball to go over the fence. I hope that's the image they have. That moment when he's waiting to see if that ball goes over the fence. The look on his face, the way way he was holding the bat. And I'm saying this all from memory. I'm not looking at it right now. So that's what I hope. Anyway, what do you think?
I was personally hoping they tried to capture him leaping in the air as he was running towards first base, because that's iconic too.
Yes,
but I definitely think the expectation of the ball leaving the park would be the pose that I would go with.
Well, Aaron, I like your idea. I think that's a great idea. If they can figure out how to suspend this statue.
It'd be interesting.
So figure out a way to suspend the statue. Okay, let's talk about our friends, the Raptors, who are in a playoff spot. They're playing quite well. Tell us about them, Aaron, and how they're doing. They did some cap space work. They traded for a player they have no intention of using. What else do we need to know about the Raptors right now?
Well, Toronto has actually officially improved to 21-7 against teams that are below 500. They lay a spanking on the Indiana Pacers, 122-104 on Super Bowl Sunday. So at the same time that Seattle was running roughshod over the New England Patriots, poor Drake, they were beating the heck out of the Indiana Pacers. Scotty Barnes had 25 points, 14 rebounds, and 4 blocks. RJ Barrett had 20, and Sandro Momakalashvili added 17 off the bench. Pascal Siakam had 18 points to lead Indiana, but Trace Jackson Davis made a good first impression with 10 points and 10 rebounds in just 15 minutes of play. So, Barnes actually went off in the third quarter. He had 13 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, and a steal in just 9 minutes of play. It was also plus 23 at the time. So, good to see them flexing a little bit and taking advantage of the fact that they have an opportunity here to put some distance between themselves and other teams in the division.
Telling you about the Argos, they made 2 signings.
Yeah, as we're approaching free agency here, they signed Trey Rucker and Solomon Davis. Rucker most recently spent time with the Washington Commanders back in 2025. And Davis played 12 games at Central Michigan in 2024, hauling in 19 passes for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also played 3 seasons at Valparaiso before his time at CMU. So, they're looking to add a little offensive punch, after recent changes and the releases and signings by other teams.
Again, tomorrow the Argos will have an avail. We'll be able to talk to them about some stuff. We'll let you know what happens out of that. The Alouettes signed 3.
Yeah, they signed former NFL quarterback Anthony Brown Jr. To a 2-year deal. They also signed American quarterback Dresser Wynn and American linebacker Donovan Manuel. All 3 players signed 2-year contracts. Brown played for the Boston College University Eagles and the University of Oregon Ducks. He was the Ducks starting quarterback, completing 64.1% of his passes for 2,989 yards. Spent some time with the Edmonton Elks in 2023 after a stint in the NFL with the LA Rams. He later returned to LA for 2 additional seasons following his time with the Elks. And in 2025, he wore the Memphis Showboats jersey in the UFL. Manuel, the last signing, 2 seasons with Florida International. In his final season with the Panthers, he recorded 121 tackles, along with 15.5 tackles for loss.
Let's talk about the Bombers. They signed a couple of players as well.
Yeah, so they signed defensive end Michael Fletcher and linebacker Aaron Smith. Fletcher joins the Bombers after times in the NFL and a 5-year career with Appalachian State and Michigan State. He signed with the New York Jets as an undrafted free agent in 2025, participating in rookie minicamp and training camp. He was in all 3 preseason games. Smith signed with the Bombers after signing in the NFL in a 4-year collegiate career with South Carolina State. Smith also joined the Jets as an undrafted free agent, participating in the minicamp and training camp. He was also in all 3 preseason games, had 4 tackles, 1 knockdown, and 1 quarterback hit.
Let's go to the Olympics. Start with downhill.
Sure. So Jack Crawford was looking pretty good there, I'll be honest with you. He posted a time of 1:53, which was good enough for 9th place in the men's downhill. He was the top Canadian in the field. That also included Cameron Alexander, who finished in 14th, Jeffrey Reed, who finished in 25th, and Brody Seeger, who finished in 28th. But the hill's really bumpy, according to a lot of people, which helped contribute to Lindsey Vaughn's fall as well. She required surgery in 2 places on her tibia. Absolutely shattered it coming down off the hill. But yeah, he was very grateful to finish in the top 10. So good on him for that.
Talk to me about speed skating.
So Malte added bronze, which is another Olympic milestone for her. It's been 16 years since she made her Olympic debut for Team Canada in Vancouver in 2010. She's now 35. She's in her 5th Olympic Games. As far as anybody else is concerned, she has nothing left to prove, but she went and got herself a bronze medal, so that's awesome. She actually translated her training and her desire into a time of 3:56.93, the exact time of the previous Olympic record that had been set 4 years ago at Beijing in 2022. So that's, a good way for her to end if she does decide to hang them up. But she's always telling her husband, hey, if I feel like I got one more in me, I'll go for one more.
Let's talk about hockey. Day 1.
Yeah. So for Team Canada, after having their game against Finland canceled due to an outbreak of the norovirus, they had to wait until the 3rd period before they actually managed to get anything clicking against Switzerland. They finally managed to pull out a 4-0 win. They led just 1-0 after 40 minutes, despite outshooting the Swiss 30-3. At the end of the game, they had actually ended up outshooting the Swiss 55-6. Canada dominated the game. They just could not find a way past the Swiss goalie. And as far as I'm concerned, she may have played herself onto a PWHL roster at some point.
Without doubt. Let's go to day 2 and let's talk about cross country.
So I don't know if you're familiar with the McKeever name, but they are some of the most decorated athletes when it comes to cross country skiers. Milan Theriot and Rob McKeever were both Olympians in cross-country skiing. His uncle Brian McKeever won 20 Paralympic medals in cross-country skiing, with Robin as his guide for many of them. Xavier wasn't pushed to follow in their footsteps, but on day 2, he finished 13th in the men's 20-kilometer skiathlon, first men's cross-country race of the games. That's a fantastic debut for him. The only place for him to go from here is up.
Let's talk about Bloman's disappointment.
Yeah, it's a long road, man. Ted Jan Bloman was participating in the men's 5,000. He's 39 years old. He was really, really pushing. You could see it during the first part of the race. He did actually manage to keep his lap times under 30 seconds, but by the end of the race, you could tell that he was flagging. It's unfortunate. He ended up off the podium this time around, while Italy's Riccardo Lorello took bronze. Norway's Sandor Eitrim won gold, and Czechia's Metode Jelek skated to silver.
Let's talk about figure skating. How did Canada do, Aaron?
Well, unfortunately, we didn't do as well as we could have in the team skate. They ended up finishing 5th overall. It was the United States who defended their Olympic gold. Canada entered the day in 4th place, just a few points back of Italy. But unfortunately, their scores weren't quite enough to get them over the top.
Beautiful. Let's go to day 3 and let's talk slope style.
So we managed to capture our second medal, another bronze. Megan Oldham grabbed the bronze. Every athlete gets to do 3 runs, but only their best score counts towards the final ranking. So she got a score of 76.46 for her third run. She canned up in her second run and got a score of 38. Her first run was a 69.76. So this put her behind gold medalist Mathilde Grimaud of Switzerland, who got an 86.96 for her second run, and silver medalist Eileen Gu of China, who got 86.58. So 2 medals in that point.
Day 3 women's hockey. Italy stuns Japan, wins and goes to the quarterfinals. Good for them.
This is absolutely massive. I cannot imagine how they actually felt, but they hung a 3-2 loss on Team Japan, who were pressing late. Looked like they might have actually managed to tie it up, but unfortunately, it didn't quite work out that way. There was just a little too late. It all came about in the worst of ways that you could possibly imagine. Cross wires by a couple defenders allowed Kristen De La Rovere to score with her own rebound after they coughed up the puck.
Day 4, speed skating.
So Canada won silver in the short track speed skating mixed relay. This is one of the new ones that they're trying out this year. Kim Boutang, Courtney Sarro, William D'Angelo, and Felix Roussel were the team. Canada sat in third place as Italy and China went out front. Near the midway point, Belgium was actually able to pass Canada, but 3 laps later, a really good exchange allowed Canada to get back into podium position. Roussel made a pass with 3 laps to go to get the team into second place, and they managed to hold on. So fantastic stuff.
Well, we'll have to leave it there. The NHL, we can always tell the same stories we missed today. We can tell them next time. We'll see everybody again on Thursday. My name's Candid Frank. He's Aaron William Freeland. Thank you for watching, everybody. See you next time. Enjoy the Olympics. I'm telling you, it's always exciting watching the Olympics, but a little teary-eye for the women today in hockey.
They'll recover.
I hope so, Aaron, because it's very important to me that Canada do well at the Olympics.
Always is.